General Hospital will reveal Cyrus as a dangerously manipulative character in Port Charles. His ruthless actions have caused many to be outraged and seek ways to confront him. However, no one could have expected that Cyrus's life would end in 3 completely different scenarios, each containing dramatic and unexpected elements. In the first scenario, Jocelyn goes mad and kills Cyrus using Dex's final legacy. Jocelyn, with a heart boiling with rage, could no longer bear the crimes that Cyrus had committed. Discovering the gun in Dex's apartment as a warning, she realized that she now held the tool to end his reign of terror. Jocelyn spent hours thinking, meticulously plotting her next move, but deep inside, she still carried an underlying fear. That night, as a storm raged outside, she gathered all her courage, stepping out of the house with the gun concealed in her coat pocket. When Jocelyn entered Cyrus's hideout, the atmosphere was heavy and suffocating, reflecting his evil nature. Standing before her enemy, Jocelyn showed no fear. She faced Cyrus directly, her hand clutching the gun but maintaining her calm. The accusations flowed from her mouth, each word sharper than the last, as she recounted his crimes, Sam's death, the attempt on Dex's life, and countless other atrocities he had committed. It was as though all of her suppressed anger over the years was released in that one moment. Cyrus, a seasoned villain, showed no signs of panic. He smirked, his cold eyes daring her. "What do you think you can do?" he sneered, inching closer to Jocelyn. The tension in the air grew with each passing second. Although Jocelyn had prepared herself, she was not prepared for how overwhelming Cyrus's presence was, making her feel weak and vulnerable. In the moment he lunged at her, attempting to seize the gun, Jocelyn's survival instincts kicked in. A fierce struggle ensued, screams and the sound of thunder blending together. Her hand shook, but she held on tightly to the gun. A shot rang out, tearing through the night. Cyrus collapsed, his eyes filled with shock and fury as he realized his defeat. Blood pooled on the floor, an outcome Jocelyn had not desired but could not avoid. Trembling, Jocelyn dialed Jason and Sunny, her voice choked with emotion. They quickly arrived at the scene to help her handle the aftermath. However, despite their support, Jocelyn could not shake the feeling of guilt and haunting. That night, she not only ended Cyrus's life but also lost a part of herself, the innocence and naivety that had been Jocelyn before this tragedy. In the second scenario, Cyrus slips and falls to his death while being pursued. This is one of the most thrilling scenes. After all of his crimes were exposed, Cyrus became the target of a relentless pursuit by Sunny and Jason. With his strong survival instincts and inherent cunning, he chose a treacherous mountain path leading out of Port Charles as his final escape route. It was a dangerous passage, full of steep slopes and narrow turns, surrounded by deep ravines. The howling wind on the mountain seemed to match the desperation and fear rising within him. In the dark of night, the headlights of Jason and Sunny's vehicles cut through the darkness like sharp blades, chasing Cyrus relentlessly. The roar of engines, the crunch of gravel beneath tires, and Cyrus's screams echoed through the mountains, creating a picture of intense tension. Jason, with complete focus, cornered him into dangerous turns, while Sunny kept a safe distance to prevent Cyrus from escaping. He knew his time was running out, and panic began to consume him. Eventually, Cyrus was backed into a sheer cliff. Standing at the edge, he turned to face Sunny and Jason, his eyes no longer filled with confidence but with madness. The wind howled fiercely, carrying with it swirling dust, making the atmosphere even more oppressive. Sunny moved forward, confronting Cyrus directly. In a low, commanding voice, he said, "This is the price you pay for all the pain and crimes you've caused." Despite being cornered, Cyrus still attempted a smirk, showing his defiance. "I will never let you win so easily," he shouted, attempting to back away toward the edge of the cliff. His feet slipped on the wet rocks, causing him to stagger, but he still tried to regain his balance. However, in that fateful moment, a rock beneath his foot rolled away, throwing him off balance. With a scream, Cyrus slipped and fell into the abyss. Sunny and Jason rushed to the edge of the cliff, but all they saw was the inky darkness and the wind howling through the rocks. They stood in silence for a few moments, unable to speak. While Cyrus's disappearance marked the end of his reign of terror, no body was found, making his death a great mystery. Had he truly died, or would the ghost of Cyrus return to haunt Port Charles? That was the question both Sunny, Jason, and the residents of the town had to face, as the memory of this dangerous foe remained as an unhealed scar. In the final scenario, Liz kills Cyrus with a knife in an act of self-defense. Cyrus, a man who never hesitated to use any means necessary to protect his power and dark secrets, was finally trapped by those he had once underestimated. Liz, who had silently endured and witnessed many of his crimes, decided she would no longer allow Cyrus to continue evading justice. With courage and intelligence, she began collecting evidence to bring him down. One day while working at the hospital, Liz discovered a security camera footage showing Cyrus exchanging a deadly poison with an accomplice. Realizing that she now held irrefutable evidence, Liz immediately contacted Lucky, the person she trusted most. Lucky, with his experience and sharp instincts, helped her analyze and strengthen the evidence to ensure everything was undeniable. Together, they presented the video and related documents to Jordan, the Port Charles police chief. Jordan, who had long suspected Cyrus, immediately recognized the significance of the evidence and began planning his arrest. However, things did not go as smoothly as they had hoped. Cyrus, with his extensive network, quickly uncovered their plan. He realized that Liz was the key and decided to act first to silence her. On one dark night, Cyrus snuck into Liz's house, intending to finish things. He thought he could intimidate her using fear, but this time, he had misjudged his opponent. Liz, having anticipated his actions, was prepared. In the kitchen, she had hidden a sharp knife and kept it within reach, ready for the worst-case scenario. When Cyrus suddenly appeared, his eyes cold and threatening, he approached Liz, delivering veiled threats about the price she would pay for opposing him. But Liz was no longer the vulnerable woman she had once been. She faced him with determination and resolve. When Cyrus suddenly lunged at her to subdue her, Liz swiftly grabbed the knife. A violent struggle ensued. In that dangerous moment, she used all her strength and courage to defend herself. The sharp knife struck Cyrus, causing him to stagger and fall to the floor. Liz stood there, breathing heavily, her hand still gripping the blood-stained knife. She quickly called the police, and within minutes, Jordan and her team arrived at the scene. Looking at Cyrus's lifeless body, Jordan understood that this was not a simple murder but a justified act of self-defense. After investigating the scene and reviewing Liz's testimony, the police concluded that she had protected herself from a dangerous killer. This event not only allowed Liz to overcome her fear but also ended Cyrus's reign of terror in Port Charles. However, the memory of that fateful night and Cyrus's vengeful glare would remain a scar in her mind, a reminder that sometimes, in order to protect justice, one must face the darkest sides of oneself. All three scenarios leading to Cyrus's death are stories filled with intense emotions, each one like a symphony of rage, suspense, and breathless moments. The direct confrontations, the meticulous plans, and the split-second decisions made by those involved have created a vivid picture of the battle between good and evil. Although it ends in death, Cyrus leaves behind an indelible shadow in the hearts of the characters and the community of Port Charles. Cyrus was not just an ordinary villain, he was the embodiment of cunning, cruelty, and boundless ambition. The crimes he committed were not just numbers on legal documents, but deep, painful scars in the minds and lives of his victims and their families. His death, no matter how it occurred, could not immediately erase the pain he caused. Yet, it also offered the characters a chance to face their hauntings and seek redemption, though this was not an easy task. The events surrounding Cyrus have completely changed the landscape of Port Charles. For Jocelyn, it was a journey of crossing the line between innocence and making a tough decision, even if it left an indelible mental scar. For Elizabeth, it was a testament to the courage and survival instincts of a woman pushed to her limits. As for Sunny and Jason, Cyrus's mysterious death was not only the closure of a criminal spree but also a warning that darkness could return at any time. The lessons learned from these events extend beyond the characters themselves, offering a reminder to the entire community of Port Charles. It is a reminder of the value of justice, that justice cannot be warped by fear or power. It is also a story about vengeance, that vengeance can offer a fleeting sense of relief but forces one to confront the darkness within. Finally, it is a lesson about courage, that even in the darkest situations, one can find light through bravery and a strong will to protect what is right. Cyrus's death, though no longer physically present, will forever remain a part of the ongoing saga in Port Charles. It is not only a dramatic twist in the story but also a catalyst that forces the characters and the community to reflect on themselves, confront their mistakes, and find a path forward. And above all, it affirms that no matter how deep the darkness, the light of truth and justice will always find a way to shine.